All right, boys, welcome in, welcome in. We got a few people watching. I'm going to do a quick breakdown. You know how that goes. It's usually never quick. Of the slate today, tomorrow, not today. The slate tomorrow, week 14. I believe that's the week we're on. Who the hell knows at this point? So many weeks. Yes, it's week 14. But there's so many weeks we've already played, and there's not that many weeks remaining. A lot more showdown stuff going to be remaining as we get into the playoffs. With only 4 weeks, 5 weeks remaining, right? So we're just gonna break it down and get into it. Let me figure out what screen to get my projections on here. Boom. I don't know why that does the. Why does the border like that? It's not too bad. All right, guys. If you got any questions, I'm gonna pop the chat open. Pop it in. Then we can just get kind of going here. I'm gonna start off with QBs, and then we'll work into each player position. I'll do a quick rundown of the playbook this week. I just posted it, so it's up. Sorry, got a little scratchy throat going on here. We got the playbook up this week. I'm gonna drop the link in the Discord. If you guys aren't in the premium Discord, check it out. We got all our stuff in the Discord. I'm always in the Discord. You guys can message me, private message me, whatever you guys want to do in the Discord. So check that out. This is just a playbook. I write a quick article. It's been a little bit longer lately. This is still a decent article. Highlighting my plays, who I'm on, who I'm not on. I didn't talk about Lamar Jackson in here and whatnot, but I did talk about some weapons of his. I did list some weapons of his. So obviously he's got some potential weapons in here, but we'll just get to the optimizer and see how he grades out. Search by Goldie projection. This is the industry average projections of all different multiple sources. We like to sort by that, kind of compare the differences between Saber and Goldie. Actually, I kind of would want to do a different. No, that's what we want to do. Am I on the right slate again? Yeah. All right. Let's get going through. So some sites have Mahomes higher than Allen, but here the industry average is looking at Allen higher than Mahomes. So, these guys are the potential highest ones. Um, so I don't know. They're pretty expensive though, so we like a lot of these cheap guys here in this mid range. I think that's probably where we're gonna lie mostly. I get too many things open and I try to search for things that I need, and I can't ever find things that I need in here. I swear I'm missing something here. What am I missing? I'm missing everything. Average ownership. Yeah, where was that at? Sorry, guys. Like, what is going on here? Average ownership. Is that what we want? Yeah, that's what we need, right? Boom. Brock Purdy, 13. Jake Browning, 11. Blah, 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 blah. I should have goalie ownership. Yeah, that's what I want. That's right here. I never, it says goalie. I never see the ownership when I'm looking through it. Sorry, guys. All right, 8 of you watching, don't forget to hit the like button. You got any questions? Now's the time to ask me. I got the chat right here ready to go. So Josh Allen and Mahomes are the top guys. We got, Lamar falling here at number 3. A lower owned play though. So this week, usually I don't play this type of player much. I just not a Lamar Jackson guy. His weapons are popping. They're very affordable weapons too. So the stacks are very easy this week. I didn't talk about him as much, but I did want to talk about him on this quick show that I'm doing. It's not a bad game environment. The total's a little bit low, but their total's strong still. They're a good team. It should be a fine game environment. They're a low on flyer. Probably make a couple lineups with them. Justin Fields is one I want to talk about. I really like the Chicago Detroit game. I like Goff a little bit too. He's really low owned here in the industry. Fields is a little bit more owned, but the Fields to like DJ Moore stack, Komet stack, and then run it back with Amon, Montgomery, Swift, Laporta, something in that range. Are some of those combos of players that I really like this week. Same with like Brock Purdy. I like the Ayuk stack. I like maybe throw CMC in with them. Even Kittle Ayuk, Purdy stack I've played in the past. A little bit. Actually, it hedges off CMC chalk as well. It's kind of like a leverage a little bit off CMC, but you can stack that game. He's getting a little bit of ownership, but I really like that game. I don't even know if I'd run it back, but Lockett is very cheap this week. What's up, Ograx Factor? How you doing today? Yeah, Fields and more. Yeah, I like that stack. I'm kind of I've been wanting to play golf. Golf's been in my main stack a lot lately. His price is okay, but Fields has the rushing upside. Detroit's defense hasn't been playing very well the last 4 weeks. Chicago's defense actually has been playing better, a little bit since the last 4 weeks. They've kind of turned it around a little bit. So, I do like that stack, but I think it's going to be a good game. So I kind of like that. Herbert's kind of going under the radar. Denver's not very good. I'm just not sure why. I feel like there's a bounce back game for the Chargers. I'm going to have to be on them this week. Keenan Allen's an elite target. I think Austin Eckler's going to have a bounce back as well. They're talking about, making changes in the backfield or something. So I don't know. Maybe it's something, giving him the ball more. I don't know. They should do something. So it's crazy. So yeah, so Herbert and Goff are the two guys I'm really eyeing this week, just from that reasoning, because I'm expecting a big day from both of them. And I think Goff, I like that Goff call at 6,400. He's obviously a lot cheaper than Herbert. But I like this game environment. I like that game environment. I just don't know, how I want to stack it up, because the pieces are kind of expensive for the Chargers. Eckler and Keenan Allen. Everett, Eifert. I can't ever say that. Tyler Eifert, Everett, Gerald Everett is an elite option, but we got Parham there too. See, I might have got it right now. I might be able to figure it out. Not Tyler Eifert from the Bengals back in the day, right? Oh, Jefferson. Yeah. I was just about to get to him because Dobbs is right here. Dobbs at 5,900 is a great stack. We think they're going to whoop on the Raiders, actually. I like them with him coming back. Dobbs has had some good games there and then kind of faded away. I think he's looking for a bounce back game as well this weekend. I think with Justin Jefferson there, an elite weapon, I think him and Hawkinson are a couple of my weapons that I would like to pair him with, or even both in that same game. Adams and Jacoby Myers and Josh Jacobs all project okay for the Raiders too. So if you think it's going to be a competitive game, you can have a run back in that game as well. So I really do like that stack. I listed it. If you guys missed out coming in, I do have Josh Dobbs as one of my plays this week. Goff, Purdy, Herbert, and Fields. All what I just talked about, guys, right here in the playbook. If you guys want, I'm giving it out a lot this week. It's week 14. We've had a lot of new members signing up this week. This year it's been pretty good. NBA season's been rocking. MMA's going on. Sheets has got it. I got questions for that today going. And then I decided I want to make a video coming off my playbook I just posted for you guys to be ready for in the morning. I'm even thinking about doing some rise and grind show in the morning to kind of see if anything changed in the morning when we break it down. But these are still my main stacks this week, guys. We don't know some status on Geno still. The spread's really weird in that game. That could determine if I want to run it back with Lockett or if I just want to run an onslaught San Francisco stack. Desmond Ritter's a low-owned guy that I'm thinking about playing at 5,000, the $3 MME or $20 large field. I don't mind that play as well. These are just some shots in the dark down here, guys, a little bit. Baker's popping a little bit at 5,300 in that Atlanta game. It's at Atlanta, so it's a dome game, which typically we like those type of game environments. So Mike Evans is popping in that in the projections. We'll get to receiver in a minute. So yeah, but you can see my main stacks. Jake Browning had a big week last week at 5,200. Jamar Chase looks okay, but I think he's going to be pretty chalky. We got goalie ownership average around 10%. That's a little bit higher side. So I really like the stacks that I'm on this week. I might dabble with this Mahomes and Allen a little bit just because they project way up here. But they're more expensive. But we like Diggs, we like Rashee Rice this week. So we like Kelsey always. We might want to dabble in that game a little bit. So really, we talk stacks and QBs there. When we go over those, you can see the stacks, how they list out for the playbook. How do we have a Russ Wilson? Yeah, actually, I should have talked about that. He's grading out to be a decent pick at 5,800. Chargers, have given up a lot of yards. I like Javonte Williams a lot more on the ground for Denver this week than I do Russell Wilson. But the stat combinations are really good. Like Wilson to Judy to Cortland Sutton is very affordable at their prices. We'll probably look at them as we get to receiver, but they're really cheap pricing. Makes that stack affordable, and you're on the other side of it. You save a few $1,000s almost in quarterback costs, and you can run it back with Allen or Eckler. Just choose which one you want or both. Full game stack 3-2 that. I don't mind that. I'll probably write that down and do that too. I should have talked about that. I was really debating on the Russell play, and I still am debating because when we get into running back, I really like Javonte Williams today. I don't know if I listed him as my play on my playbook. I kept it very small on the running backs this week. I did list him as number 10 on Eckler. I should have probably highlighted him. I'm not totally sure I like a run back of him in that game because you got Judy very cheap. We'll get to receiver, but let's talk running back. Moss is chalk. Alvin Kamara and CMC grade out the best. I like both of them. I'm really high on Kamara. He's in our cash build on the playbook as well this week. So far, we'll see how our cash shakes up. Usually after some updates, injury news, questionable plays in and out. Our cash line can change a little bit on Sunday morning. So if you're interested in that, I usually try to post that in the Discord, at least for DraftKings, what I end up on it. And it's been smashing. One of the first 8 weeks in a row, guys. Cash was king there for a while. So yeah, it helps hedge the GPPs a little bit as well. Let's get through running back though. CMC, Kamara, Zach Moss is super chalk. CMC will probably be chalk too. But you got some other chalky guys. Javonte Williams is chalky. So maybe that Russell Wilson stack is a little bit more intriguing. Just because you leverage, like we talked about, leveraging CMC's 27%. You go play Brock Purdy, Ayuk, and Kittle, but there's no reason that CMC can't be included with Brock Purdy. We've seen Brock Purdy naked win Millie contests this year. So just any combination of 49ers, they got elite weapons, elite talent. They're playing a weaker defense in the past. We'll see. They got a strong total in that game. But yeah, let's keep moving on. Jacobs, I like as a run back in Minnesota. He's cheap, projects well. Going to be a little bit chalk. White in the Atlanta game. I'm not as high on White this week. Bijan in that same game, I'm a little higher on him. His price is good, but we've seen the backups come in and score touchdowns. So it's really like Tampa Bay, I think it's better to pass against, in my opinion. So I kind of like the Drake Londons and the Kyle Pitts, which we'll talk about that with that Ritter stack in a minute. Yeah, Moss was chalk last week, busted. He's going to be chalk again, but it's not the fact that he busted is the big key. I mean, he was still in like milli lineups and stuff, crazy stuff. But the fact that he got all the usage, like 90% of the snaps last week, guys. That's massive with all the goal line work. So take it for what it's worth, but that's crazy. Those are crazy numbers, but it can change this week, like you said. I mean, he needs to do more this week. Just from a DFS perspective, he needs to do more. From a usage perspective, I bet it goes down. So we have to be careful with that. So Joe Mixon, Austin Eckler, I like Eckler's price is coming down. We'd love to see it. Waiting for a boom week from Eckler when the prices come down. We'd love to see guys' prices come down in DFS because that means they were getting too high and then it's kind of leveled back to reality. And you have to get back on the train and get it going again before, he hits his big game and the prices are back up. It's kind of the world we live in, right? So I like that. Kyren Williams is priced up a little bit against a good Baltimore defense. His ownership's going to be pretty low. Eckler's going to be low too. I think he's going to have a bounce back game. I'm not scared of Denver. Samuel, yeah, we'll get to Joanne, we'll get to receivers in a second. I'm going to try to get through these. I like Hall if he's in. 6,200 has been a price. Javonte Williams at 5,800 is such a good price, but ownership's high. Gibbs and Montgomery down here. We got that going on again. Who's going to get all the work? Chicago's defense. I kind of like Gibbs a little bit more. This week, I think Chicago made some trades, beasted up their defensive line a little bit. I think Gibbs maybe in the dump off scenario with Goff, Amon, or Goff, Gibbs and Laporta type stacks are viable. Jacksonville, we got a lot of questionable stuff there. Browns defense is very chalky this week. Some guys down here that we could use value pieces. Let's just sort by value. I'm probably not sure why Jerick McKinnon's not popping. Keith Mitchell, 4,900. I like that too. Is a low one play, $3 large field max. Where's the Jerick McKinnon? I'm surprised Jerick McKinnon CH isn't getting any more love here. That maybe their projection's not up to date yet because it looks like they're going to be booming at 4,200. I like Jerick McKinnon though. He gets goal line work too, guys. Don't forget about him. He scores little dump off passes as well. So he's viable at 4,800 this week. You can play one of those guys as well. So I'm kind of in these higher backs this week, like the Kamaras, the Josh Jacobs, the CMCs a little bit. You can see that kind of reflects my, and Austin Eckler obviously kind of reflects my thing, my playbook a little bit, and then that debate on which Lions running back you want to get, and then your flyer Jerick McKinnon. So I give you a few options there in the playbook that I'm on this week as well. All right, receiver. Joanna asked about Deebo Samuel. Had a big week last week. I was on him last week. Didn't have him in any of the right lineups though. Story of my DFS life. But he's a good play this week. I'm kind of more on Ayuk and Kittle, but I like the pretty stacks in general. I'll probably have a few of those at least. All over the board, depending on $3, $20, even some $50 to $100 single entries. He's very viable this week. So Ayuk's grading out probably better. 6,900 is still priced up a little bit from what we've seen. Ownership's a little bit higher, so maybe Deebo Samuel should be right here. Yeah, 6,800 for Deebo. Lower ownership. Yeah, the lower ownership gets me more on him. I really do play more contrarian. So yeah, so I definitely think that's the switch, and he's 100 cheaper. So if you really need it, the run backs in that game are a little rough. But Tyler Lockett at 5,600. I don't know why I said 5,700 earlier. I was off 100. He's a little bit. He's still cheap. 4,700 for Judy. That's great. That makes that Russell Wilson stack very good. Throwing some. Where is it? Throwing Judy and Sutton. 6,100. Do a little double stack there. We've seen them both do well. And throw in Austin Eckler, Keenan Allen in that same lineup and hope that game just nukes 40 something to 40. Big shootout. Chargers have upside shootouts like that. On a slate that we don't have a lot of great games. This is an outside game that we like. This is outside with injuries on the other side. This is also outside. The Saints game's inside, but not many people are on that game, which I like some of the pieces in that. Chris Olave, AT Perry again. I'm putting my list as a value, guys. What's up, All Star DFS? How you doing, my guy? Yeah, I'm just doing a quick breakdown for everybody today. We haven't been doing the picks video during the week, so I kind of wanted to get a picks video out today. I didn't mention that, but I did list him on the playbook at number 8 here, guys, for value. That's a good call by Poker X Factor. We kind of got a lot of questions for receivers, so I jumped in there and kind of missed it. If you're not playing Stephon Diggs or stacking this game, James Cook's viable against KC. They have been doing better against, KC's defense has been doing better as the years gone on. The game's been lower, less total, less scoring in those games, under the totals a little bit for the Chiefs this year. And some of the games, their defense has been able to hold the opponent. But Josh Allen, James Cook, solid stacks to go either running back or stack that game. It's definitely viable. I'm trying to lean to whether I want to do one or two stacks of that game, but I'm really liking these other games that I've talked about mostly today, this video, this game. But I mean, look at the totals, very hefty in this one compared to the slate. So you got to think about it. This is an onslaught game. This is just not going to be a game. I like Houston this year. I just think the Jets defense is so good. This might be a game that's kind of going under the radar slightly. I like him. Mike Evans here at receivers should be projecting pretty well. I'm sorting by industry average, so we'll see how it projects. Based on Sabersim projections, it's above Sabersim. Yeah, the industry's a little bit heavier on Evans. You like Kittle this week? Yeah, we'll get to tight end. What's your favorite stack in the KC Buffalo game? Ooh, well, we didn't talk about one of the guys that's chalking that game. We can talk about him right now, but Rashee Rice, 5,400, very cheap, projected for 13 points, ownership at about 15%. He's going to be projecting, or he's looking pretty good. He's getting more work. He's getting more routes run. The Rice to Kelsey stack's probably my favorite, probably as of right now. Just the other guy's been so bum. Like Tony, we've been chasing. I mean, they just been like bumming. Just like Sky Moore might get a catch, and then it's like, Rice has real biggest potential to do something in that game. But Watson had that big game a couple weeks ago and then scored zero the next week when he was like super chalk or 3 points or something. MVS drops a touchdown to win could have won the game one week, 3,000. So like, it's just like they have to hit their big play, which they could, but at the same time, let's just take the Rice play or just stack Mahomes and Kelsey. That's actually, to be honest, what I've done all year, guys. I've just stacked Mahomes and Kelsey and then you can run it back with James Cook, or you can run it back with Stephon Diggs, which we like. In our one of our favorite players, Gabe Davis. He's looked good lately. At the end of the season, getting a little bit more work. Everyone's like, "Oh, Shakir's overtaking him." Oh, welcome back, Gabe Davis. Had that big game the next week. I mean, it wasn't a huge game, but for his price, it's a decent score. So yeah. I just don't think Rice is going to be that chalky where you got to worry about it. There's so many spots to get different this week. Yeah, he's like 14%. But I mean, he could come down. I think people are going to get on these other games a little bit more too. But this is a good game to get on. Watson's all right, 3,600. I think he's viable for sure. His projection's pretty bad though. It's just because they're not getting any love. They might be the guy for the game. You're basically just take these guys and put them in a hat and draw a name almost. Like that's the problem I see with it. That's why I think you should just stack it with Kelsey. I'm fine with that. And if he spreads it out to all these guys and each of these guys have 14, 15 points, or one guy has a 20 and it's one of these guys with a 20, you might need, but like if they're like 10 to 14, you won't need that. And Rice has like a 9 or something. If Rice gets a 20, then you should be worried. But 4x is the numbers is start to get worried when you don't have that guy. But I mean, Kelsey or Mahomes will still have all the points. Maybe Kelsey gets 3 touchdown game. Kelsey's due to break out too this week. All right, let's get back to receiver. Who haven't I talked about? Pittman had that big game last week. We do like Josh Downs. He still projects pretty well here, getting a lot of work. He has some targets, specific plays for him in the red zone. 9% though is getting a little high. People on him because he's cheap, and we need to fit the running backs in this week. So people are playing Elijah Moore, 14%. People playing JSN here, 11%. People are playing Rice because they're cheap. You can pay for these guys, and then Jonathan Mingle, 3,500 is getting 10% love. You can pay for these guys, even Garrett Wilson. You can pay for these guys. You get it? Play these guys. You can pay for the running backs. Okay. So that's why I'm liking these plays a little bit more, where you're getting some more expensive receivers. Obviously, Keenan Allen's at a whole nother level. I mean, he's like, by the way, I was sorting by value there. So I want to show you the value plays. But let's go back to some of the high end guys because we want to look at the ownership again. Obviously, Keenan Allen's graded out so good. That's why he's one of the top values, even because his projections so much higher, but his ownership's going to be fair. I don't know if he'll get to 19% to be fair, but there's a lot of other good guys up here. I'm on it like at 8,200. Diggs 8,800. I'm thinking I'm getting onto that game a little bit more, talking about with you guys. But I'm on, it was 8,200. I really like that. Evans I talked about. Let's scroll down. Nico, I'm not sure on this game. He's priced too high. Chris Olave, I like him. Debo we talked about. Puka and Cooper here. They're low owned, and if they can score some points in this game, they're viable. But I mean, maybe a large field, something crazy. Maybe have a stack of them. Nothing crazy. Garrett Wilson's a value play. He gets a bump because Wilson's back this week. He really targeted Wilson when Wilson was playing. Sutton, Rice, Zay. We talked about all these value guys when I sorted by value. Myers at 5,700 wasn't on the list, but he's there. Gabe Davis, Jerry Jeudy, I like that. Elijah Moore, I like that. JSN and Mingo were 2 cheap guys we like. So there you go, guys. Those are pretty much what I also put in the playbook every week. Talked about Pittman in that game too. I'm 7,300 though. I have him marked as a play. I also have Josh Downs on here, A.T. Perry. Is another value play. He's the backup to, the second receiver. I think he's end zone, red zone threat too. I like that. So all these guys. Oh, I didn't talk about the Carolina a little bit. Adam Thielen is in there too. I actually might get talked into a Bryce Young stack just because that game is going to go a little bit lower owned because of the total, and it's in a dome. We like to target games in a dome, and there's no reason the Saints defense might have a couple guys out on the D line, so there could be some potential for some scoring there. Let me check questions. QB plus 2 receiver, then 2 receiver from the other team. I don't do 2 receiver from the other team. I do like RB receiver, but I don't mind it. It's been winning actually. The 1 week 3 receivers on one team won with like 1 or 2 run backs from the other team. My typical stack is a 3+2 or a 3+1. Those are my typical stocks. I'll do pretty much everything I said in this video. That's what I'm doing. Like Herbert to Keenan Allen to Austin Eckler, or Keenan Allen to Everett, or some combo like that, or Amon St. Brown, Laporta, Goff, Fields, DJ Moore, Komet, Amon, DJ Moore, Fields, DJ Moore, Komet, Amon, Gibbs. Some of those kind of combinations. Dobbs, Jefferson, Hawkinson, Jacoby Myers, a little bit different in run back, or Josh Jacobs, Jacoby Myers. Something like that. Or do Purdy, Ayuk, Kittle, Lockett. That one's pretty simple this week, but maybe just do no run back. Yeah, I like to bring running back a little bit more, and just I think because touchdowns been happening, you get the goal line scores quick, and then the other team, it's got to throw the ball. We should, and then you can correlate running backs with defenses sometimes too. You want Jerome Ford in the Browns defense. You want Montgomery get some work, and then maybe Lions pick 6 or something. So there's a lot of correlation I do, but yeah, I do running back. Usually I'm do the 3+2, but a lot of times I probably do 3+1. But I do tend to have more run backs because you could see like a Gibbs or Montgomery, 3 touchdowns this week, and then you're gonna see Fields passing it. If the Lions get a big lead on Chicago and Montgomery's getting all the work, he's got 125 yards and 3 touchdowns. You're going to see Fields throwing it to DJ Moore, throwing it to Komet, trying to play catch up, or trying to, they're behind the sticks, So like last week when the Lions defense scored or whatever, or a couple weeks ago, that hurts my golf stacks because the Lions scored. Now the other team's back out there again. So they usually tend to don't correlate together when defense and QB, but we have seen earlier this year where it was an onslaught and a QB that was in the same lineup as the defense. Yeah, I think that Lions game is a good one to target. It's one of my favorites. I'm going to have a ton of stacks in that game. I'm getting onto the Saints game a little bit more just because of the dome. Same with the Atlanta game. The Ritter stack, you can do Ritter. I like to do, okay, let's do this one. Ritter plus Pitts plus Drake London, run it back with Mike Evans, or run it back with Mike Evans and Rashid White. Or if you want to play just Rashid White had 20 points the other day, and the stack on the other side did pretty good on that same game, I think that was the Houston-Tampa game, right? That was a big game, something like that. And then pretty much the Denver game, you could do Russell Wilson, Judy Sutton with Eckler, Keenan. So I've literally gave you all my stacks. I've literally built my lineups with you guys today, just talking to you. So tomorrow I'm going to come in and just start putting these lineups in. I'm going to be like, hey, who do we say? Oh, this stack. And then you just kind of fill in guys that fit, basically is what I do. Then see how much ownership I'm got. If I got some of these main stacks, they're going to be owned. They're the main guys in the team. So then you got to come in and say, hey, this lineup looks a little chalky. I'm going to throw A.T. Perry in this game, and I'm going to run it back with A.T. Perry and Chuba Hubbard. Yeah, that's a weird one. And then you got 2 random low-owned guys in there. Or you stack it with, you say, hey, I'm going to run it back with Keaton Mitchell and Cooper Kupp. Or I'm going to run it back with Montgomery and Komet in that lineup, right? Because we don't have a tight end. We already have 2 receivers. You're doing Russell, Judy, Sutton, and then you're going to need a tight end. You could do Laporta and Rashawn Johnson. Some running back receiver correlation I like to do, or tight end running back secondary correlation. I'm really big into my secondary correlations because hell, we've seen Kamara go off with Thielen or Mingo. We could do that too. So that would be a good secondary correlation. So we've seen that kind of stuff go off, and that's kind of what I do, like Bijan and Mike Evans. So maybe that there's only two players that go off in the game, and you want to get that game too. So you're still targeting the same games that we're targeting, but you're not doing the full stack. Now you're just targeting secondary stacks, and then you're putting them with different combinations of other games that you think are going to go off. So guys, that's kind of what I do when I build. I target these games and I start building stacks, and then we'll just kind of go from there, But like you got to think when you play Keenan Allen, Austin Eckler, and Herbert, that's pretty chalky. You're not making up any ground. When Keenan Allen scores a touchdown, I actually drop in fantasy and DK all the time because he's so chalky. Even then if you pair him with Judy, he's going to be chalky. So you got to find ways to get different. Maybe you run there. You'll run Jerick McKinnon, Gabe Davis secondary correlation with that, late game. So you do a double late game. You got some pivots you can make. If your rest of your pieces hit or something, you can even change it up or whatever. So yeah. Okay, let's read a question here. We got I have Lamar and Flowers stacked, then bringing it back with Puka and Cup. Risky, but I'm hoping the Rams keep it close. Now, both of those guys do get some work. We've seen them both get touchdowns the same game. They both are all of the work from Stafford, but you got to think Stafford's price is pretty cheap. 6,000, it's not that cheap. So it's viable that he's not in the winning lineup if that works. I did say I want to keep the show short, and here we are at 35 minutes. It's very typical of me to do that. I've kind of hit a lot of the stacks already. I've hit everything you need to do to win this week, literally breaking down all the games. Isaiah Likely at 3,500, so don't forget about him. I think that's one of the guys I really do like this week. He gets a lot of work when Mark Andrews is out. He got almost every other pass the other night in that showdown. I had him captain a ton. Just didn't have any of the right pieces. Just missing out a few pieces every showdown, man. I literally just, it's amazing how I also bet the Pats to the over the other day. I had a bunch of bets right in the Monday Night Football game or Thursday Night Football game. And like I had changed my 2-touchdown score. I was going to do Hunter Henry 2 touchdowns because he had good odds. And then I changed it to Juju revenge game. And I forgot it. And nobody told me it was Hunter Henry's birthday. And that was a bad move. And then I had, just a bunch of stuff right. And you got to have it almost perfect today. So just being close, guys, don't matter. But let's get the tight end. Kincaid ranks out pretty decent in that game if you want to get him back involved. He gets a lot of work as well. Hawkinson, Laporta, Kittle, Kelsey, we've all talked about them. I think Joanne likes Kittle this week at 5,900. That price tag is really good in a good game environment, high total. Laporta's price is up there a little bit, so you can get one of these guys a little cheaper down here. Pitts we like at 3,700. That's just too cheap. Eifert, Everett, 3,400. He splits with Parham here at 3,200, but I think he's the main guy. Higbee looks to be doubtful this week, so maybe Cooper Kupp and Puka are the guys this week, big time. Brevin Jordan's a cheap one at 3,100. If Dawson Knox is back available, it could hurt Kincaid, but they've both played really well together, and that could just open up a little bit for Buffalo more. And then Cole Kmet here at 4,300 is a decent pick, a little bit lower ownership, and Kyle Pitts is getting a lot of chalk because of his price. Travis Kelce's probably under-owned in my opinion. Should be around 20%, 7,800 elite talent. Good game environment, I think. I like that a lot. So, and you go over the playbook, you can see all these plays. Isaiah Likely, this guy, boom, this guy. Pretty simple. Defense before we end it here. Let's try to be done in 40 minutes. That's a pretty long video. Most of you guys stuck around. Appreciate it. Hit the like button if you haven't been able to hit the like button. I don't know how many likes we're at currently. Looks to be 8. That's pretty good. We get 20 on a main show, but if we get to 10 likes, yeah, or even a super chat or something. We got to do these super chats. You guys know how to do super chats? They're pretty cool. I like these super chats and stuff. Yeah, super chats. You guys can drop a question and highlight your question. You can also just send cool stickers. And it supports our stream, guys. It supports True DFS content, hitting the like button, doing all the cool things, getting your name highlighted, your question highlighted. We do answer all the questions. We do answer everything in Discord as well. People private message me pretty much every day all week. I answer those questions as well. Pretty nice guy, I know. So let's get the defenses to round it out. We'll hit the 40-minute mark. We got 1 minute to do that. Jets defense, I really like. Falcons at 2,900. The chalk defense is going to be the Browns at 3,000. They're about 19% owned, but they look to be in a good spot. There's some injuries with Jacksonville, obviously. We'll see how that all shakes out on Sunday tomorrow at 11. But I'm pretty sure the Browns might be the defense you want. But I really like pivots to the Jets with another team with injuries, and then the Falcons. Baker could always throw a pick six at any time. They're in a dome game. I like to target defenses that pass a lot, or defenses that opposing teams pass a lot, like Tampa Bay, Houston. I mean, they run it with Rashad White, but Baker's always chucking it to Evans or Godwin deep. Easy to get turnovers, picks. Baker fumbles. Um, you know, kind of what we target. And then the Bears defense has gotten a little bit better this week. If you're not on the Detroit kick this week like we are, play them at 2,400. But there's not many cheap ones to play. Seahawks look to be an option, but probably not. I like for 2,400. If they were min 2K, we could talk about it. I don't think I'm going to get there. 2,700 Rams, Lamar. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to get there. Weather maybe outside could affect it a little bit, maybe. So he fumbles a lot, but I'd rather just play the 2,900 and the 3,000 defenses this week. That's where we're going to be. So, all right, we just hit 32 seconds over. Joanne's on the Ravens this week in the 49ers, it looks like. So, yeah, the Ravens is another good defense. But we got All-Star. He's on the Puka runbacks to that game. He's on a big game. He's on a Ravens Rams 40-35 game. That's what he's wanting. He wants a big game out of that one. That's what he's wanting. I think the Jets are probably the best defense on the slate because they're very good. Even the 49ers are pretty good. I think that's a good defense to play. They're a little bit more pricey. I'd rather play the Browns at 3,000 or the $2,900 Jets. So that's where we're at, guys. Any last minute questions, you'll have to hit me up in the Discord. I'm going to be dipping. I got to do some Christmas lights stuff. Gonna be getting figured out for tomorrow, and then we're gonna be back at it in the morning. Okay. Check out the playbook if you haven't. It's up there. I talked about it all this week. Gave you a pretty 42-minute breakdown of the slate. Hit the like button on the way out. Appreciate everyone for stopping by. Sorry it was a random time of the day, and I was just hoping to see how many likes we had on the video, but I can't. Did we hit 10? We hit 9. 9 likes, people. We couldn't even get to 10. I dragged it out an extra 2 minutes. We couldn't even get to 10 likes. All right, tomorrow we're going to be going for likes of over 20, okay, on the show. So, all right, guys, good luck on your teams on Sunday, and we'll see you. I'm pretty sure I'll see all of you tomorrow that were in the chat. They'll all be there tomorrow. So, I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good Saturday night. And